Without a doubt, Boston has one of the most impressive three-point shooting rates in the NBA and, in fact, in the history of the league. However, an analyst believes they have identified a vulnerability that could hinder the team's pursuit of a second consecutive championship, something that hasn't happened since 2017. Surprisingly, this weakness seems to lie in their offense. Let's explore this. Before we dive into what the analyst said about the team's offensive performance, it's important to consider the current state of the team. Many experts might argue that it's difficult for Boston to beat opponents like the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Oklahoma City Thunder. However, I believe the team has all the necessary elements to succeed, both last year and this year, achieving feats that seemed improbable. The analyst notes that he believes Boston's offense, in general, is rather slow. It doesn't exhibit the same intensity as some of the other teams in the upper ranks of the standings. He doesn't question the effectiveness of their three-point shooting. We know that is undeniably strong. However, when it comes to the offense as a whole, he believes that the slowness of their game might become a disadvantage in critical moments. He emphasized that it's not easy to find a weakness in the Celtics, who, along with the Oklahoma City Thunder, rank among the top 5 in both offense and defense in the league. However, one potential challenge for Boston in the playoffs is their overly methodical offense. This doesn't just refer to their reliance on three-point shooting, but the fact that Boston demonstrates a cautious style, as if they're not playing freer basketball or reaching their full potential. Looking at the overall offensive rankings, we can see that Boston has a notably slow pace, ranking 26th in fast break points and last in the NBA, with an average of just 11.8 points per game in transition situations, totaling only 16 points. An interesting statistic is that when Boston secures a defensive rebound, it takes them 12 seconds to decide on their next shot, placing them 27th in the league. If they get a steal or a turnover, on average, they score in about 9 seconds after these situations. Combining all this information, it seems like the team moves at a rather slow pace, although this is not the perception when watching the games. With these statistics in mind, one might wonder, if Boston's offense is truly slow, how did they win the NBA championship last year? How are they currently in second place in the Eastern Conference, having secured over 56 wins and only 20 losses? It seems contradictory that they could rank so poorly in several traditional categories outside of the box score. The answer lies in the fact that Boston is considered slow mainly due to their heavy reliance on three-point shooting. While this doesn't define their entire game, a significant part of their strategy revolves around long-range shots, which has led them to set new NBA records even before the regular season ends. Since Boston does not play at a fast pace, they compensate with an above-average number of three-point attempts. Recently, the team broke the NBA record for the most three-pointers made in a regular season, hitting 1,364, surpassing their own record from 2 years ago, which was 1,351. Under the guidance of their coach, this approach has become characteristic. The strategy prioritizes three-point shooting, and the team has excelled in this area. However, it's worth considering that if those three-pointers aren't falling, the team may struggle in a series of games. Throughout this season's matchups, we've noticed that the three-point shooting accuracy has not been ideal. There is a stark difference in how their offense operates compared to the league's overall performance. They lead the league in three-point shooting with a percentage of 45.9%, but rank last in two-point attempts at 40.9%. It's important to seek balance, as in tough moments, the team cannot rely solely on fast breaks or the pace of the game, because that doesn't align with what we see in the league. How will the team perform in a 7-game series if the three-pointers aren't falling? We've already seen this situation against top teams, where their shooting percentage was as low as 24% in games they should have won. Let me ask you all, I know many will say yes because I see it often. Is the team relying too much on three-pointers? If you agree, type Y. And if you disagree, type N. They're extremely proficient in this area, so they take risks, but there comes a point when if the rate is 1 in 7 or 1 in 8, it's time to reassess and look for closer options. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'll address how the team can adapt if the three-pointers aren't working in a moment. But first, let me mention something that might be interesting. If you haven't yet, consider downloading an app that lets you create your own lineup. It's very simple. Just adjust the options based on a player's projected stats. With the arrival of spring, the baseball season has already started. Don't miss the chance to include your favorite players in the lineup. Also, you can mix projections for athletes across different sports. Everyone knows there's a big game later. So, I'll go with a player who should score more than 20 points and another who will have fewer than 5 rebounds and assists. I believe the primary role of the second player will be to contribute points in this game. These are my picks. The second half of the season has begun, and the playoff race is heating up. The app is a great place to tap into your knowledge of your favorite sports. Test your skills by downloading the app today. So far, there have been 20 losses this season, a bit higher than I expected. However, in 8 of those games, the team had a shooting percentage of under 30% from beyond the arc. Those were losses to teams they should have beaten, but because they couldn't find their rhythm offensively, they always seem to be playing catch-up. And we know what happens when the team is trailing. They start shooting threes in an attempt to catch up. However, in reality, they are registering an average of 5 fewer inside shots compared to last season. It seems like they're not prioritizing attempts inside the paint. Now, I'll acknowledge some players from the starting lineup. They start attempting shots from beyond the arc in an attempt to close the scoring gap. Nonetheless, the team currently averages 5 fewer drives to the basket compared to the previous season. It appears there is a deficiency in the organized effort to score in the paint. Some individuals in the starting group, especially one who has gained strength in the offseason, can now adopt a more physical style near the hoop. Moreover, having an additional player around the basket certainly enhances the overall approach. When the starting 5, including both a guard and a forward, struggle with their three-point accuracy, whether it be at 17% or 24%, the team adapts its strategy to prevent stagnation. This adaptation enables one forward to continue penetrating inside, while the other operates around the post and fades from the perimeter. Nonetheless, it remains vital to depend on the bench to provide that much-needed three-point shooting. The three-point shot is a critical element that cannot be overlooked. This adaptability is what makes a particular team especially threatening. Each player possesses the capability to score. The bench must step up and ignite that three-point threat while the starting 5 seeks to find their rhythm on the court. One specific player can greatly influence the course of a game, providing that vital spark off the bench. This player, when up against formidable opponents this season, has not received the recognition they deserve, according to many observers. Against one team, the perimeter shooting was lacking for all, which is reflected in their ability to restrict teams to below 30% shooting from long range on 2 occasions. However, versus another rival, this player boasts 67% from the floor and 40% from 3, averaging 13 points against one opponent, 10 against another, and 17 against a team currently in second place in the Western Conference. Thus, counting on this player has proven fruitful for the squad, particularly in the latter stages when the primary scorer is having difficulty finding the net. When the guard and another player struggle from three-point range, this player knows how to fill the void. Even if the shots aren't falling initially, they can effectively distribute the ball or contribute on the boards. Still, it cannot be solely this player's responsibility. Especially in the latter stages of the game, when the primary scorer is struggling, this becomes crucial for the team. When the guard and another player are not hitting shots from beyond the arc, this player steps up effectively. If the shots aren't landing immediately, they assist or grab rebounds. However, it is insufficient to rely solely on this player. Attention must also be directed toward a couple of other players who must elevate their game to be the needed assets come playoff time, as one individual's performance during the regular season has been somewhat erratic. If this player is to enhance their game, it has to happen in the playoffs, since their performance against top competitors in the regular season has not been up to par for someone considered a strong candidate for a major award. One player has faced a particular team, recording 0% shooting in one matchup against another team. This was not merely a fleeting moment on the court. They spent a significant amount of time playing. In matchups against another team, they averaged 7 points and only 6 points against a specific opponent. This player must elevate their performance, particularly since they substitute for key players. The previous year, this player was a valuable contributor off the bench during the playoffs, shooting 38% from three-point range, which played a significant role against tough defenses later in the postseason. If improvements do not materialize, a strategic change may be considered to introduce another player. While it may seem unconventional due to their rookie status, their intensity and tenacity are reminiscent of another player, but they possess the advantages of size and strength, enabling them to defend against all 5 positions. An initial chance will be granted to find their shooting rhythm from beyond the arc. If there is no enhancement, a shift in strategy will be essential. The bench's contribution to three-point shooting is crucial to ensure the team maintains its offensive flow and avoids becoming stagnant. Support is vital for establishing their offensive rhythm, especially with the playoffs on the horizon. Superstitions should be managed carefully, as many individuals tend to be rather superstitious, down to specific routines during critical moments. Boston must steer clear of stagnation if they fail to create a flowing offense. The involvement of all is vital to assist the team in achieving that flow. It is crucial to uphold an optimistic outlook regarding the team's endeavors in the postseason. Beliefs and rituals can influence outcomes. For example, following certain routines or having particular items can provide a sense of reassurance. Engaging with this content would be appreciated, as it could foster positive vibes for a robust playoff run. Moreover, there's a chance to connect during the NBA playoffs, and backing the team is essential for nurturing the community that revolves around it. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. A bombshell rumor has emerged surrounding the future of Payton Pritchard with the Boston Celtics. Despite a promising start and a championship title in 2024, Pritchard has expressed his frustration, claiming that he is not being utilized to his full potential by the team. With the 2024 NBA Finals under his belt and career-high performances throughout the regular season, the question arises, why is Pritchard seemingly underappreciated by his own coaching staff? The 26th overall pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, Pritchard quickly became a fan favorite in Boston for his ability to perform in high-pressure moments. This season, he played all 82 games and averaged 22.3 minutes per game, even scoring a career-high 38 points in a regular season victory. Yet, despite these standout performances, the guard has made it clear he feels his talents are not being fully maximized on the court. Adding fuel to the fire, Pritchard signed a fully guaranteed 4-year, $30 million extension in October 2023, a commitment that placed the Celtics' trust in him for the foreseeable future. However, his recent comments suggest that trust may not be translating into the playing time and role he expected. His discontent stems from the inconsistency of his usage, particularly in crucial moments of the game where he has proven his worth time and again. What makes the situation even more intriguing is Pritchard's remarkable performances in the NBA Finals. He played a pivotal role in Boston's championship run, making clutch shots and contributing to key victories. His buzzer beaters, including a memorable half-court shot in Game 5, displayed his ability to thrive under pressure. These feats should, theoretically, have earned him more consistent playing time and a more prominent role in the Celtics rotation. As the season progresses, it remains to be seen whether Pritchard's frustrations will lead to a departure from Boston or if the Celtics will finally recognize the value he brings to the table. One thing is certain. This growing tension between player and team will be a storyline worth watching as the 2024-25 season unfolds. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.